Every WWE 2K video game has its positives and it has its negatives. Yes, even WWE 2K20, for the many faults that it has, there still are maybe some positives. But what are the absolute best things in each of WWE 2K games? Well, join us now as WrestleGamia looks at every 2K game from 2K14 to 2K23 to find out what feature the best thing was in each game. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when we upload a video. WWE 2K14 Defeat the Streak. The 2K14 was a legendary start for the 2K franchise. It felt like the game that we finally got the series where it needed to be once again. One of the things that 2K14 did so well was its 30 years of WrestleMania mode, which let you play through some of the most memorable matches in WrestleMania history. Every WrestleMania from 1 to 29 was covered, which spans through multiple eras in WWE history. It left us with a legendary roster that will be hard to ever top again. And whilst this mode was good, it was a specific mode within 30 years of WrestleMania that amazed us enough to have it as the best thing in 2K14. That mode being Defeat the Streak. In the Defeat the Streak mode, you'll be tasked with doing what was unthinkable at the time, defeating The Undertaker at WrestleMania. As you can imagine, it was no easy task at all. This would be a Super Undertaker with its own special AI specifically for this mode. The lights could go off at any point and Undertaker will appear behind you. He could randomly get through finishes or put you in the Hell's Gate when you tried to go for a pin. The mode is still talked about fondly to this very day, and many 2K fans have been wanting to see this mode return in a different style, possibly a Defeat Roman Reigns mode. WWE 2K15 Universe Story Selector. Going from one of the most well-known features to one of 2K's most underrated features, 2K15 was infamous for being the not-so-great start for the 2K games on the PS4 and Xbox One consoles. Many fans were disappointed at the incredible amount of features that had been removed from the jump to PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. There were no more Inferno, special referee or I Quit match types, and even creating a women's wrestler was impossible. This was something you could easily do on the PS1. And whilst 2K15 had its many negatives, it had a positive change to Universe mode. In 2K14's Universe mode, rivalries were added for the first time, and 2K15 expanded on this new feature by allowing players to choose their storyline. Each storyline had different scenarios and outcomes, and players at 2K15 loved this feature, which made its removal from Universe mode quite surprising at the time. No such feature would be seen again in Universe mode until 2K23. WWE 2K16 Stone Cold Showcase. A showcase mode has been a great way to relive WWE's biggest moments, as well as the careers of some of the biggest superstars in WWE history. However, we feel that no career was showcased any better than Stone Cold's in 2K16. Everything was covered in this showcase, from his early Ringmaster days to his WCW days to even having an ECW match showcase within the mode. The care that was put into Stone Cold Showcase will be hard to match, and in our opinion, it hasn't been matched yet. It didn't matter if certain match types were not in 2K16, Showcase mode still had them covered, like how we could recreate the Buried Alive match between Stone Cold and The Undertaker, a match type that has not been seen in WWE games since SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, or a handicap ladder match between Stone Cold and the McMahons, which is a match type that has never been featured in a WWE game before. The best showcase and the best thing in WWE 2K16. WWE 2K17 Backstage. And one of the things that was so loved in the old PS2 era WWE games was being able to go backstage during a match and doing crazy spots throughout the backstage area, and in some cases even taking the fight outside and the train station. Yes, a train station. A 2K17 didn't go that far when it brought back the backstage areas, but it did a pretty good job with it. You could take the fight to the gorilla position, locker rooms, and even Vince's office. The backstage area also had a few OMG moments that you could perform throughout the different areas. Although it was the best thing in 2K17, it still did feel like it was missing some of the stuff that made the old backstage areas as fun as they were. Thankfully in 2K18, the backstage area was upgraded to feature more areas, such as a parking lot area. WWE 2K18 8-man matches. Speaking of things that WWE 2K fans wanted, for many years fans had asked about the possibility of ever getting 8 people in the ring at once. We had it once before with SmackDown Just Bring It, but that number was brought back down to 6 in SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, and for over 14 years that was the number it was limited to until 2K18 would change that. 8 people in the ring would be confirmed for 2K18, and it would be possible in multiple different matches. You could have a normal 8-man match, 8-man battle royal, 8-man ladder matches, 8-man tag team matches, and in a Royal Rumble matches, there would be entrants until there's 8 people in the ring. Now, it wasn't perfect, with some players reporting that there were slowdowns on base PS4s and Xbox One consoles when 8 people were in the ring, although those with PS4 Pros and Xbox One X's did have the same issues. WWE 2K19 MyCareer. The 2K19 had a bunch of great additions to the game, like updated cage and Hell in a Cell matches, 5-man matches, triple threat tag matches, custom Money in the Bank briefcases, different Money in the Bank cash-ins, and the list goes on and on. It's why WWE 2K19 is one of the most beloved 2K games ever. It felt like a WWE 2K game for the fans, and tried to give as much as the fans had asked for. One of the biggest things that fans asked for was MyCareer mode, to be more similar to that of the Road to WrestleMania days of SmackDown vs. Raw, with a fully voiced career mode that had different storylines to play through. 2K19 finally gave us that back, with the career mode being a fully original story with many WWE superstars voicing their characters. The story itself was fun and an enjoyable playthrough, enjoyable enough to earn its place as the best thing in WWE 2K19. WWE 2K20 Weapon Wheel. Okay, here we go, WWE 2K20. We've said all that we've needed to say about the lows of 2K20 over the years, so now it's time to actually say something good about it. There's not much, but there's still something that 2K20 introduced that players at 2K love seeing in the game to this very day. WWE 2K20 introduced a custom weapon wheel in matches, and this allowed players to pick whatever weapons they wanted to see under the ring in matches. No longer were you stuck with a generic set of list of weapons in the weapon wheel, but this feature actually got updated to be much better after the game was released. It was a pretty solid feature, but this update made it great. After the update, you had no limits on the weapons that you could put on the weapon wheel. So you want 6 chairs? Go for it. 6 tables? Not a problem at all. It's hard to praise WWE 2K20 for being such a bad 2K game, but this feature definitely deserved its praise as the best thing in 2K20. WWE 2K22 Visual Upgrades. And now that 2K20 is literally the reason why we've had to jump from 2K20 to 2K22, as the game was so bad that 2K21 got cancelled. However, with that time away, 2K managed to do something that players of the game had complained about for years, and rightly so. The character models in the previous games looked horrible. Some looked nothing like the actual WWE superstars other than looking legitimately frightening. It was to the point that actual superstars were actually posting on social media about how bad the models looked. This time away allowed for the character models to be leveled up in a way never seen in a WWE game before. Characters actually looked incredibly accurate for once, and no longer did we have to put up with edge models that would scare us because they looked so bad. It was a great thing that 2K had the time away, and it looks like the days of 2K20 level bad models are in the past.
We're going to see history repeat itself. What the hell? It's Braun Strowman. The monster among men is here. This is payback for what the NXT champion did to Braun on Raw. Running power slam.
And 2K23 WarGames. Now, the last game on this list is this year's 2K23, which ended up being the best rated WWE game in over 16 years. The days of 2K20 were truly in the past by now, and WWE 2K23 followed up very well on the things that 2K22 did so well. 2K23 even added a brand new match type for the game for the first time in many years. WarGames had been highly requested for so long, and it felt like this would just never happen. Fortunately, 2K managed to make it work, and it did so at the right time, as WarGames would become a feature within the main roster in the WWE rather than being an NXT exclusive. The WarGames match was done pretty much to perfection in 2K23. It's right to feel like some things could be missing so they can call them upgrades in future games, but everything really does feel perfect here. Fighting between the 2 rings, climbing the cage, bringing weapons to the match, everything is here. The only thing that is really missing is the match being limited to only 8 men. Hopefully in the future, PS5 and Xbox Series X being the main consoles now, we'll see an upgrade to 10 people on screen. But that was the best thing in every 2K game. What do you think is the best thing in every 2K game though? Let us know in the comments down below, and we'll see you next time with some more wrestling video game content.